Hello everyone. So good to see you. What is up, Greg? Happy Monday. It's been so crazy today. So we did push the live stream today forward an hour and a half because as of today, I officially have a home waiting for me in Washington that I'll be renting for the next year or so. Who knows? It's beautiful. I love it. I'm very excited. There's definitely enough room for me, Chance, and Juno, and we locked that in as of today. So I'm very excited. I've been spending all day going through all of my stuff, taking stuff to donate, and I am feeling very tired. But it's all going to be worth it. I've been just trying to get like a month to 2 months ahead on everything, so that by the time I'm out there, I have time to unpack and kind of get used to being in that space before I have like too much to do out there. So good to see you guys. If I seem a little bit tired or spacey, it is because I definitely am. But it's so good to see you guys, and I wanted to talk a little bit about creating the life of your dreams using your dreams. So that you may have seen this in the title or the thumbnail, that I had a dream come true. This dream, getting to Washington, I have been working on for 5 to 6 years, and it has never really lined up. And there are some things that I feel like are a pretty important part of my practice that I do feel like accelerated me getting to Washington, even though it still feels like it took forever. I know there's some practices that really did support me in getting there, and some of it is through dream work. And so I did want to talk to you guys today about how we can create the life of our dreams using dream work. So how to use your dreams to make your dreams come true in waking life. So we're gonna dive in a little bit to that. I probably won't stay too long today because I have to go through the whole bathroom closet after this. I have to the 14-day lucid dreaming course for the app Peak is coming out on the 4th, so I still need to finish writing those and then get those recorded. So that's what these next few days are going to be, is just like getting there. So I'm very excited. And yeah, as far as the podcast and stuff, I will definitely probably have to wait until I'm out there to start that, but it's going to be way cooler because I'm actually going to have a podcast space for it. And I guess everything really does work out. Like, the things that you don't get to in your life, or the things that seem to not align at that time, I feel like there's always a reason. And if we don't know the reason then, we usually find out later, like, oh, okay, it's so much better to start this project now because of these things or these resources or these understandings I have now. And so that's kind of where the podcast is at. So the podcast is coming. I'm sorry it's taken so long. And it's, even though we have 2 episodes out, I'm going to revamp the entire thing. And so that is basically the first project I'm going to start when I get out there, is my 3rd channel, which I told you guys about, that is going to be all for like bedtime aid, sleep aid, bedtime stories, affirmations or subliminal messages to help with more restful sleep. Just anything bedtime aid related that even people that don't practice dream work can tune into. That's going to be the 3rd channel that I'm working on. And then, of course, I'll still be releasing consistent courses and programs with like Peak Audio, and ones on my own with group coaching, and then the podcast. And then the website, the merch shop, that's all this year. So there's a lot happening, and I really do feel like the work that I've been doing in my dreams has just helped me find so much more clarity on the things that I actually want, and the little pieces that I didn't think of on how to get there. So we're going to be diving into that a little bit, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is like the next month is probably going to be pretty busy on my end. My move-in date is set to the 29th of this month, so in like 10 days, but I'm going to obviously need a little bit more time to go through stuff, pack, and my lease is up here, like right on Juno's birthday. Juno's birthday is the 17th of April, and that's like pretty much dead on when we're going to be moving out, so we're going to throw Juno a birthday party out there, and I'll definitely record it or go live with you guys, and we'll have a little party for Juno out there. So lots is coming. The timing of everything is lining up, but yeah, if if I seem a little sporadic with how long I do my live streams or whatever this next month, that's why. But I promise you, I'm working so hard, and everything's gonna balance out when I'm out there. Like, I'm gonna have so much time to work on the projects I've been waiting on. So I'm very excited. But hello everybody. I unfortunately need to go to bed now, but I will watch afterwards. No worries. Thanks so much for joining, for saying hello anyways. Hello, what is up, Lloyd? How's it going? Hey Haley, when I'm lucid dreaming, how can I get out of body? And how can I talk to my parent that passed away? I'm so sorry, Gina. I'm so sorry for your loss. Dreaming can absolutely help with connecting with loved ones, and I have definitely used it for that a lot the past few years since my grandmother passed away. And as far as using lucid dreaming as just a place to start to get to an out-of-body experience, there's probably, I know there's several ways that you can do it, but for me, when you know that you're dreaming, you know that you're sleeping in bed, and if you kind of are in the dream and you can kind of shift your awareness from like the dreaming version of you to the version of you that's in bed, eventually you can tune into what's called dual body awareness, where you can actually feel sleep paralysis. You can actually feel yourself physically in the vibrations. You feel that tingly vibration feeling from inside the dream. So when you start to tune into what your physical body's doing, and if you can feel yourself laying in bed while you're dreaming, you actually do start to tune into the sensations that your physical body's experiencing. Maybe you start hearing the fan in your room, stuff like that. And once you do that, for me, I kind of do an out-of-body technique like while I'm in the dream. Like, I tune into my physical body in bed, and then I can kind of will myself up out of my bed, or using the rollover signal from inside of the dream. I know it sounds kind of confusing, but when you're in the dream, you're basically, like, once you start feeling your physical body, you basically just imagine that your body in bed starts to float, or you start to kind of shift out of your physical bed. And a lot of the time, just becoming aware of the version of you that's sleeping in bed is sometimes enough to wake yourself up, like back into your bed, but without waking up your body. So your mind is awake, obviously, inside the lucid dream. And once you know that you're dreaming and you start focusing on your physical body, you can almost wake up. Everything kind of goes black. The dream starts to fade. I kind of call this the void state. It's kind of like in between dreams. You're not awake. It does feel like your dream's ended, but you're kind of just like in the in-between state. So if that does happen, the dream starts to fade when you do this, then I would just continue to remain still and imagine as much movement as possible, like swaying back and forth, or floating above, sinking below, like sinking into your bed. There's so many different ways that you can do that. Imagining your body like kind of slowly spinning in your bed, you can also do that as well. Or the target technique, which you can just imagine like standing on the other side of your room looking at your bed. So you can feel yourself laying in bed, and now you're going to imagine that you're looking at your bed from a distance. So it's a little bit trippy. It should feel like that. It kind of feels like it trips out the brain a little bit when we think of it this way. And that's why we can train ourselves to induce out-of-body experiences, is because we're tripping up the brain in a way where it doesn't know which version is real, like us laying in bed or us standing on the other side of the room. And when we're in like a half awake, half asleep state, when we're not fully conscious, the brain is very susceptible to things we imagine and movement that we imagine, and that can almost quote-unquote trick the brain in a sense to shift its awareness to where we're imagining opposed to where the physical body actually is in bed. Hope that makes sense. But the target technique, I definitely think would benefit you, and just even practicing in meditation to kind of get the feel of what that feels like to be sitting in a position but closing your eyes and imagine that you're looking at it from a different perspective. Perspective is such a big thing with inducing out-of-body experiences and just making sure that you're in the right state. So as long as you can train yourself to either wake up inside of a dream or remain in mind awake, body asleep while you're in meditation, that's half of the work, and then learning to use your imagination in a really vivid way is the other half, I would say. And of course, always start with a strong intention. I have like a dream planning journal that I use before bed or before my techniques, and it's basically just a way to write down your intention, solidify that, and then if you ever get sidetracked or you want to try that intention again, tomorrow you can just pull open your journal and you can just work with that plan until you achieve it. But even just communicating with your loved ones who have passed away and just letting them know that you would like to see them, I promise you they will start to show up in your dreams. You will start to feel them more, smell their perfume, like whatever it may be. Just that openness really does allow so many more of these experiences in without us always having to try to make them happen, you know. But I hope that was helpful to you. Again, I'm sending you all my love, and I hope let us know. You let us know when you have a beautiful experience that you'd like to share. Thanks, Gina. Hello, Adrienne. How's it going? Tiffany, what is up? So good to see you all. Haley, I got dual body awareness once. I'm not sure if I mentioned before, but I could feel the side of the body I was laying on vibrating/bubbling. That's so interesting. The one time that really stands out to me, and I've told this before, but I was in this dream where we just had to hike to some like cabin in this really, really pretty spot. It was kind of like on the cliff, and it was at nighttime, so the moon was super bright. It was illuminating everything, and we were just on this little cabin, literally like on a cliff. I remember around, like once I went outside, I just went outside to go like look around or get some fresh air or something, and that's when I became lucid. And I looked over the cliff, and it falls really, really far down, and then there's just like tons of rivers, like really narrow, small, like streams almost, that just kind of separate and go different directions, and the moonlight is really highlighting all of these flowers, the grass, and then just all this glistening water down below from all these little streams going in a million different directions, and it's like very, very far down. This is at the point where I realize that I'm dreaming, like once I go outside and I look at everything. And right then and there, I start to feel really intense vibrations, like very intense vibrations. Like if you've never had sleep paralysis before consciously, like it's very hard to explain what the vibrations feel like, but it's exactly what you probably imagine it is. Like if your phone was vibrating or something, it literally feels like that underneath your skin. It's like really crazy. And I felt that immediately, and I decided, because I knew I was dreaming, that I was going to just dive off this cliff. And that's something that I do in my dreams sometimes. Even when I was little, I don't know, I would just know I'm dreaming and just fearlessly free fall off of buildings or mountains, and I just know that with my will I could correct it, like nothing was gonna happen. That's also how I used to get out of like nightmares when I was little. I would just like jump off something. But now, of course, I recommend facing the nightmares, especially if you get the opportunity to be lucid in a nightmare. That is very special for the subconscious mind to let you in during a nightmare. And nightmares are a sign of a healing mind. It's a sign that a lot is being processed, integrated, and if you get the chance to actually interact with what presents itself in a nightmare, that you're doing really deep shadow work without having to try to find it in the waking state through journaling and meditation and hypnosis. I mean, lucid dreaming makes this inner work so much more accessible. Like inner child work, shadow work, it is incredible. But I just remember diving off this cliff in my dream and just free falling and just feeling the vibrations like take over my body. And did I land? It's you know how you usually like you wake up like right before you land or something. Maybe that's what happened, but I just remembered the strong dual body awareness I felt in that dream. And ever since then, I've kind of learned how to induce it, and it's just by thinking about your physical body when you're dreaming. It's very interesting how that works. Like, it's true that where your awareness is, it truly, even in waking life, wherever your awareness is, whatever your awareness is focused on, that is going to be amplified tenfold, right? So and usually with out-of-body experiences and stuff, we try not to think about our body. We try not to go near our body, right? Because that could wake us up. That could take us out of the experience. But play around with it and see what happens, you know, because that's going to help you. Like, it's like driving for the first time and getting a new vehicle. Every vehicle kind of operates in its own way. Not every vehicle is the same. And you really start to feel out your own car with driving it enough times, right? You know how it handles being really low on gas. You know what to expect from different experiences because you've put yourself in the position to have that experience with your car, or the position, or that experience just happened upon you. But every experience as far as this really is power to your future experiences. Even if it's something you consider like a bad experience, like maybe you didn't get lucid, but you sat in the rollover signal forever when trying to induce a dream. Maybe that helped you learn about the rollover signal and how to work with it next time. For anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about, I'm just going to cover that really fast. The rollover signal is something that you guys may experience when your body is falling asleep. Now, to induce a lucid dream consciously or an out-of-body experience consciously, like from the waking state, we go through this process of kind of putting the body to sleep gradually just by relaxation, and eventually you start to run into some prerequisites, I guess you could say, that your body is kind of getting closer to falling asleep. And one of those is you get this really uncomfortable urge to move, to roll over. You feel like you need to itch your face, like the pillow not comfortable anymore. It could be anything. You just notice your mind start to kick in. You just have this different discomfort, and you're like, okay, screw it. Like, I need to wake up. I need to move. I need to itch my face. I need to roll over. I don't care about, like, if you have that moment just randomly arise when you're like meditating or falling asleep, that's usually the body trying to check to see if you are in fact awake. Because if you are awake, the body doesn't want to paralyze itself, because that's really to prevent you from physically acting out your dreams and hurting yourself. So it checks to see if you're going to respond to these stimuli, to this phantom itch, to this phantom discomfort you're experiencing. It's not actual discomfort, and you'll notice as soon as you move to go itch your face, you stop meditating, you go to itch, all of a sudden it's gone, because now you've told your brain, oh, nope, I'm actually awake, so please don't put me into dreaming sleep. So you want to try to almost pretend to be asleep as much as you can. You want to relax your breathing, you want to relax the muscles in your body, you want to let your eyes behind your closed eyelids relax. You want to do everything you can within those 10 to 15 minutes, and of course it varies. I don't have a clock when I'm experiencing that, so I don't know exactly how long it is, but it's usually around that time. That's kind of how long the rollover signal is for, but if you run into that, it's a sign, okay, my body's about to fall asleep. And shortly after, if you don't interrupt the body, which definitely is easier said than done, Adrian, oh my god, one time I had this strongest itch, like right on my upper lip, and I was about to go insane. It sucks so bad sometimes, but I promise it gets easier. And one way to practice actually is just in meditation. Anytime you feel discomfort, even though we can just get up and itch in meditation and it's fine, it won't really interrupt anything, right? Practice not doing that. Practice trying to witness the discomfort or the sensation that you're feeling without trying to stop it. And again, definitely easier said than done, but there's different ways that you can practice this. And for me, what makes it easier anyways, is just thinking of it as a sensation. Just say, as you're experiencing, whether it is a cold temperature or menstrual cramps, whatever it is, tell yourself that what you're experiencing is only a sensation, and see how that changes your relationship to that sensation. Because usually we try to resist things that we associate with like pain, or something like that, right? If we consider something painful or something that's not good for us, we're going to have a really hard time surrendering to it. There's going to be a lot of resistance in it. But if you practice trying to feel whatever sensation you're experiencing as much as possible, like even when you're sad, sometimes we can resist our own emotions, right? More often than not we do, without realizing it. See what happens when you like totally surrender, relax your muscles, totally surrender to the emotion you're feeling, and let it completely take over your body. Try to feel every single sense of that emotion in your body. And I promise you, not only are you going to find the beauty in that, but it will work through you and go away when it's ready. Like, I can't tell you how often we keep stuff trapped in our body, whether it's a thought, emotion, a sensation, just because of the resistance that we're putting on top of it. But once you can kind of welcome any sensation in as much as possible with just awareness and relaxation, you really build a strong mind that can handle those things. And each time the water's a little too cold in the shower, or you know, maybe your cramps are worse this time, you know, than last month, or whatever it is, it will be easier to handle because of the perception that you now have on that thing. So rollover signal, it is difficult, but there are ways to practice it, and it's not always really intense. Eventually you won't really experience really intense itches and urges to move. Sometimes it's really subtle. Sometimes you don't even know that you're really experiencing the rollover signal. You just feel a little bit of discomfort and you noticed it. And then all of a sudden a dream starts right before your eyes and you're like, oh my gosh, I guess I went through the process. So it's going to change every time. It's going to be a little bit different every time. So just know that this is called a practice. So really try not to be hard on yourself, because this is all just a practice. It's really not serious. We're doing this for fun, to explore who we are and what this is, and it really is all a part of the journey. So try not to be too difficult on yourself if you don't get past the rollover signal, because it's pretty crazy. I think I do. I think it would be a couple years old if I do. Let me check. Thanks, Tiffany. I appreciate that. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Okay. I had a dream last night of watching a scary movie, and then my dream started to become a scary movie. And that's especially true if that's the last thing that you watch before bed, because basically, like, whatever we do right before bed, our subconscious mind takes almost like a snapshot of it, and we're more likely to experience that content in our dreams, because it's the last thing your conscious mind experienced, and so that is kind of more likely to be what's processed or expressed throughout your dreams. So you can actually take advantage of that, right? You can go to bed falling asleep with an intention, or you can read a good book, or for me, I like to use my dream planning journal and just be like, what do I want to dream about tonight? You know, it helps you be able to start to kind of choose your adventures, which sounds good to me, right? And I do have some guided meditations on this channel, like choose your adventure type of like guided meditation into sleep. But I did get some requests to make the meditations longer, just to give you more time to, like, you know, get there. Because sometimes, especially when you know the track you're listening to or something's on a time limit, it's only like an hour long, you're like, hurry, I don't have time, get into the dream space. So I've taken your recommendations, and I do want to create more guided journeys like that are a little bit longer. Okay, let me see. I know I have a video on the rollover signal. It's just about finding what it's called. So I'm just going to type in rollover signal. Let's see what pops up. Let's see. Yeah, I might have to send it to you after. if I do find it, but it probably would be, I do have everything created in playlists on my channel. It might be in the, let me see, beginner ones. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check this out in a little bit to make sure. I do know I have some though. And if there's any classic videos that you guys enjoyed that you would like me to make a remake of, please let me know, because I really did, especially when starting my channel, I really did try to touch on every single thing that could come up within dreamwork. But I feel like I have a lot more to say on most of those topics, especially since it's been so long. So if you have any recommendations, throw them in the Telegram. I'm always down. Thank you, Tiffany. Oh my goodness. That is one thing that I did want to, like, you hum like 30 seconds of a song or less and you get a copyright strike on YouTube. I can't even sing freely unless I create my own music to hum on my YouTube channel. Be careful. Yeah, it's 9 p.m. over here due to daylight savings. Isn't daylight savings kind of the worst? Hi again, I have raspberry tea today. Oh, I love raspberry tea. I actually have some back there. I just got some new. Let me see. So this one is a new one I got. It's a chamomile honey and lavender one. It has passion flower in it. Oh, that's one thing that I'm so excited for my my house is that there's a kitchen that's big enough for me to live stream and make videos on there, and I have so many different tea recipes for like dream teas and stuff. So we gonna be cooking, we gonna be brewing some stuff. It's gonna be awesome. And speaking of tea, this one that I do have ready, like, let me go get some boxes just to show you. This one is you know those like teas that have the little sugar crystal type thing? It's a ginger one, so it's super spicy and delicious. Okay. I still do want to give you guys the breakdown to what we were talking about earlier. Which tea base do you prefer? Green and white and herbal. Basically all. But I love green tea. I love white tea. Herbal. I'd say I probably drink herbal tea the most, and then green tea would be second. I always have a tea. I love probiotic teas as well. Kombuchas, got lots of those. Pickle juice, you know, I got like 3 jars of pickles in the fridge. I got pickle juice, I got pickle popsicles. I'm a pickle girl, okay? I know we're talking about tea, but pickles felt important at the time as well. I do mostly black with whatever flavor. I do love a chai, so I do drink black tea as well, because I do love a good chai. Seems like your channel is the only channel that has deeper content than just reality checks. Adrian, I love that you said that, because like when I first started my channel, that was one of kind of my frustrations, was like, there's nothing on here besides like teaching you how to get like freaky and frisky in a dream, or learn how to fly, or learn reality checks, or like wild and mild and stuff. No other dream channel, at least from what I've found. And trust me, I'm a researcher. I love, like, when I get obsessed with a topic, I get every book that I can find on it, every video, every forum. Like, I just consume as much as possible on that one thing. And when I started my YouTube channel, yeah, it was like nobody talked about meeting internal archetypes, or, you know, like using the dream state to reprogram your brain, or to explore your dream space and ask different aspects of your dream what they represent or how they connect to you. It's like the main thing that makes me so passionate about dreaming, and how it's changed my life. As you guys know, like I was on like 8 medications because of depression and anxiety. It's caused IBS, gastritis, esophagitis, ulcers, and I was on 8 medications in the ER like every single week. Couldn't hold any job, couldn't get out of bed, couldn't eat anything without going into a flare-up. Like, everything was horrible, horrible, couldn't even live. It was horrible. Almost solely through dreaming was I able to transform that. And like, that was one of the first things I talked about when I started my YouTube channel. So maybe I should have warmed up to that, who knows, because there's always going to be some people that it's like, oh, that's too good to be true. And that's why I fucking love lucid dreaming, because it seems like these things would be too good to be true. you know, but it's not. Like, it is possible. So when people show their disbelief for these types of things, it makes me even more passionate about dreaming, because I know what that dream space can do. And even I've only had a taste of it. There's so much that you and I haven't even explored yet as far as what's possible in those states. Like, I cannot tell you. Let's see. I found your channel when I looked up lucid desk reviews, and I was wondering if there are any side effects, and is it safe to take with melatonin? The only side effect I found was, like, and I guess it says that when you look it up, I think it, no, I don't think it was Lucid Desk. It was like something Dream Pro. I have the supplements, and I have a couple expired bottles of dream supplements in my room that I'll have to go grab and show you. I think it's called Clarity Dream Pro or something. That was the one where I took 2, and then I was like, what's wrong? Why? What's happening? And I was like sweating so much, but apparently that was a side effect of that. As far as Lucid Desk, I didn't experience any side effects. That was the one I used the most. And yeah, it should be safe to take with melatonin. I think there is melatonin in it. Of course, it's safe to take with melatonin because melatonin isn't something that would interfere with those other supplements, because often they're used together as sleep aids. So taking it with melatonin is totally fine. I don't know if it's necessary, because some of those compounds in Lucid Desk kind of do the same thing as melatonin. But I would just experiment with it. I wouldn't take it every day also. Lucid Desk I would take maybe 3 times a week, like every other day or something, because eventually you'll get used to it, and then it's completely useless. So kind of make it like a special thing, like a special little thing throughout the week, or like a couple times a week or something. I love pickles, girl. That's what it's about. You're smart. You are smart. But during the day, I'm a coffee junkie. You know what? When I'm in Washington, I'm definitely gonna be a coffee junkie. All the iced coffee I can handle. I like Rhys Jones too, but he stopped making Lucid Dream videos, sadly. Yeah, I used to follow him as well, and I became friends with Rhys Jones for a little bit. Me and a majority of the, I'd say more, it was when I first started, so I was very, very new to making content or like collaborating with anyone, but a few of the more well-known dreaming content creators on YouTube, we all created this Facebook group to kind of like brainstorm and just to like discuss content and stuff like that, and he was in there, and then it just got, I don't know, obviously I'm not going to name like names of anybody, but it just got very hostile in there, and I just decided to do my own thing, and I haven't really talked to any of them since. But yeah, I thought that Rhys Jones was writing books now. I'm not 100% sure, but he did upload not too, well, I guess it's been a couple years now. It's been like 3 years since I have talked to him, but I do remember he made like a coming back video, but I don't remember if there was anything following that. But yeah, I don't know, I don't really follow any other dreamwork based content creators besides Charlie Morley, because he's like my favorite author when it comes to all this stuff. And you would think that the dreamwork community and all that would be very I don't know, it just seemed very competitive and hostile every time I was in certain groups of people. Rhys does, oh yeah, he does, yeah, it's like Lucid Dream, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name of the channel, but he and someone else does like, yeah, like lucid dreaming induction, like meditation type things, I believe. That's cool. That's awesome. I hope that he's doing well, regardless. All your videos is the reason I found you, though I do wish you had guided meditations, but at the same time, I've still not reached lucid dreaming and AP with them. Do they work for you? So, I do have a handful of guided meditations on this channel. I also do have a lot of guided meditations in the programs I run. So if you ever have any questions about that, like I've been running like little like 7-day or like 14-day programs on the app Peak Audio, and then I still do group coaching. I do year-long programs actually. I'm doing one right now. We're on the last couple months, but it's called the Astral Project, and it's a full month program with content dropping weekly. Every month of the program has its own class, its own breathwork session, its own guided meditation, and then we do dream circles and challenges and little like intuitive games and stuff where you can use your dreams throughout the program. And so even after I run those, I do still allow people to join those, because even though it isn't live, all of the information for a whole year is in there. So if you ever have any questions, or if there's something specifically you're looking for, let me know, because probably one of the favorite programs I've ever ran was called the Dreams Of series, and it was also a 12-month series. It was one main 1 to 2 hour class a month on a variety of different topics. Like the first one was dreams of symbolism, and so we talked all about dream symbolism, how to decode the symbolism in your dreams, and how to start communicating with your subconscious mind. I think the next one was dreams of awareness, so how to start building awareness within your dreams. And then it went into really deep stuff eventually, like dreams of the inner child, dreams of the shadow, you know. So it takes you through this entire process of not even being able to, you know, not even remembering your dreams, to being able to use your dreams to reach and connect with the deepest parts of yourself. And then we did end, I think, on the placebo. I think that was the second to last class, because that's what changed my life, was using the placebo effect to physically heal some of the digestive symptoms I was experiencing. So there was a whole class on that. I think the very last one was manifestation. So how to create something physical in your life by working with the energetics of it through dream work. So yeah, that's a whole series. People have just picked and choosed which classes out of those they want, and they just leave the rest. They're $55 per one, so it's $55 per 1 to 2 hour class, and they all come with their own text guide. They all come with their own information, and again, they can either be viewed together on like a full journey, or you just kind of pick and choose which ones work for you. I listened to the podcast. I'm so excited to bring back the podcast, because I started it last year when things were a little bit crazy, and I was like, the hardest part is just starting the podcast. Just start the podcast and it will all come together. I started the podcast, but then I was actually so busy that it was hard to be consistent with it. So I am moving in less than a month, and I'm gonna have my own little podcast area, and that is one of my main projects that will be starting up again. It's going to be so badass, I promise you guys, and it will be worth the wait. I'm very, very, very excited. I'm learning to lucid dream for my mental health too. I also struggle with depression and anxiety. Tiffany, I totally relate to you, especially on anxiety. I think it started probably when I was 13 or 14. I started getting really, 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 really severe panic attacks and really bad chronic anxiety. And luckily, through lucid dreaming, that's something that you can do, is connect with these inner archetypes and talk to them. And there's so much, not only information that comes through, but healing that can come through those experiences. And you get to understand what is at the root of that anxiety, what is at the root of that discomfort, and you get to see so much of what's in the subconscious. We don't have access consciously to all of that information when we're awake. Our conscious mind is only 95-ish, or our conscious mind is only about 5% of our brain. The rest is subconscious, and so our subconscious mind is what controls our entire life, but we don't get to consciously interact with it unless we are in like hypnosis, for example, or journaling can really take us down into the subconscious if we really allow ourselves time to practice journaling and not make it such a quick thing we try to rush through, you know. But the biggest way to really really explore the subconscious mind on the deepest level is lucid dreaming. I don't know any other practice that allows you to experience it that deeply and at such a vivid, realistic level in real time. You know what I mean? Okay, let me catch up a little bit. What is the most beautiful lucid dream you've had thus far? Probably my healing one, because that is one that's stuck with me the most out of everything. And I have videos where I've talked about it, but that was when I was really intending to explore what healing my digestive system would look like within the dream space, because I learned about the placebo effect. I learned how the mind is impacted through our dreaming experiences, and how the brain also can't tell the difference between something we're imagining, something that's actually happening, and something we're dreaming about. It's all the same to the brain, which means the brain is on and learning, and neuroplasticity is an option in all of those experiences. Like even athletes have used mental rehearsal to practice making the shot, you know, and just that mental rehearsal, that imagination of doing that thing, helps your brain feel like it's already having experience doing that thing. The same is for dreaming. I don't know, well, I've talked to you guys a ton about this UK sports science study over the years, but they had, I think it was like 60 to 80 athletes lift weights, run, and do squats within the lucid dream. And after 30 days of practice, like 67% or 76% increased in speed, accuracy, and muscle mass. So it's been scientifically shown that lucid dreaming can not only impact our mind and help us rewire our neural pathways, but it also impacts us physically and increases our ability to complete tasks or to improve in sports. So learning all of this, it really got me hyped up to explore healing my digestive system in the lucid dream. And I remember creating the intention. I remember I started the dream lucid. I just remember the dream starting and me knowing that it's a dream. I'm on some like suburban street. I remember hearing the trees, like the leaves rustling in the trees. It was like a really calm, windy day. The sunlight was shining through the trees. I remember that very, very vividly, how beautiful this... It looks like Washington now that I actually think about it. And a white truck like parks across the street, and a man with long blonde hair gets out and he walks over to me and he said, "Hey, I'm here to help you heal your stomach like you asked for." And I just said okay, because it's like, okay, like, this seems too good to be true, but I know that I'm dreaming right now, so why not go with it? He tells me, we're just walking along the street, that there is a healing pool of water that is going to help heal my stomach. I know it sounds so insane. That's what makes it even cooler. And he's like, yeah, there's just a house over here. We were just... It's like I had an appointment with him, and he just came up and was like, all right, now you're just going to follow me just right around here, and then we're just going to go into the backyard of this random person's house, and there you go, bada bing, bada boom, there's your pool of water. And then I just remember him making small talk with me on the way there. So, how's it going? How long have you been here? And I think I told him that I was dreaming, and he seemed like he totally understood what was happening. But eventually we got to this like really nice house, and we just like walked in, and the family was barbecuing in the back, and they welcomed us in, and they asked if I wanted anything. They had, because it was a really hot summer day, and so they offered me an otter pop. So I went into the fridge. I remember getting an otter pop, and I was like, oh, this is pretty fun. Like, this is like a very interactive VR fun experience. And the blue otter pop, it tasted more vivid than anything. And that's when I also realized that using your senses within your dream is untethered, because like in waking life we're limited to like the capacity of our taste buds to taste, or the sensitivity on our fingertips, right? But in the dream you can taste with your mind, you can feel with your mind, you can hear with your mind, and so it's like so different than experiencing those things in the waking state. It's like so much more amplified. And that's when I realized that was from tasting that otter pop. And I remember going back outside, and their swimming pool was like a trough type thing. It was like a smaller silver like trough type thing. And I remember just seeing the sun glistening off the water, and the sounds really stood out to me. I just remember hearing the water as I got in and splashing around, and I remembered, okay, now's my chance. And of course, I've been into, quote unquote, whatever you want to call it, spirituality, manifestation, whatever, for a majority of my life. So I knew that to manifest things or whatever is to be in the state of already having received that. So instinctively, I started just saying, thank you for my healing. Thank you for my healing. And I just put my hands on my stomach and I had my eyes closed. And all of a sudden I felt this like warmth on my hands, and I opened my eyes, and the sun, the beam from the sun is like connecting to my stomach, like through my hands. And I just feel this ball of like warmth and light building and building. And then all of a sudden the dream starts like violently shaking. And then it was like a bright flash, and I woke up. And as soon as I woke up, I sat up in bed, because I remember I got there through a meditation. It wasn't just like I had that dream in the middle of the night. It was me consciously, okay, I'm going to try to see how I can explore this healing thing. I don't really know. So that was from a meditation. So I remember sitting up, taking off my sleep mask, and I was like, whoa. I just said whoa out loud. And I remember that I like got out of bed and I ran to go tell Chance, because I was like, because he knows like all the time for years and years of like, okay babe, I'm gonna go try to leave my body, I'll be back later. And he's like, okay, and I'll just shut the door and like meditate. That's always been my thing. I'm meditating, no one comes in here. And so it was one of those days. And then I just remember getting up and running to him and telling him the dream that I had. And then in that moment I realized, because usually as soon as I wake up in the morning, it's like really intense, agonizing, like sharp pain. That's how it always was. And the best way I can describe it is like if you had like kind of like cuts on your stomach lining or something inside, and you drank like alcohol or something, that really like sharp, stinging, pulsating burn. Like that's what I felt like every day. But I didn't feel that when I woke up, and I thought that was kind of weird, and I didn't realize it until I was talking to Chance. And because I felt good, and because all of the medications I was on made me feel like a fucking zombie, and I would like cry when I took them, because I would have to try to go to work, and it's like I can't even think right now. So I decided, okay, I'm just gonna see how long I can go without taking those, and just see how good I feel, for how like, let's just fuck around and see, you know? And that was the last time I ever took those medications. A few months later, I went back to get like an endoscopy, and I do have the medical records showing before, like when I had those, like they called them scratches and erosions in my stomach lining, and then after the dream. And I remember specifically the GI doctor talking to me, oh, so what have you been doing? Have you been intaking your fiber, this and this? And I told her about the dream, because I was so excited. I was like, I don't even care if they think I'm crazy, I'm gonna tell them about the dream. And we just started talking about it, and then they started asking questions, and then they started telling me about their dreams. They're like, oh, that's interesting, you know, I've been having these types of recurring dreams. And so I don't know, it's so cool what dreams can do. It can also really help open people up to you, and I just thought that was really interesting. But yeah, it's like the endoscopy showed that obviously there was still something, like, because it was years and years and years of like wear and tear basically, and you carry all of your worry in your stomach. That's why anxiety affects your digestive system and your stomach lining in that way, because when you are feeling anxious or worrying, you're putting your body into fight or flight, and when your body's in fight or flight, digestion stops, a lot of your major organs stop, and you can't sleep. Like your body shuts everything down to try to protect itself to survive. So when that fight or flight response is always kicked on, it creates a very acidic environment within your digestive system, and that's basically why I started to have so many problems. And from there, I just started trying like natural remedies, like tinctures and taking in more fiber and stuff like that, and that has been enough to like really help me heal and balance out. And so I don't even know where I'd be without lucid dreaming, without that experience. But that is probably the most beautiful lucid dream I've had so far, Tiffany, just because that one really, really sticks with me. And I've told so many people about that. Even when we went to go get our car, the person that was selling us the car, she was asking what we do. Oh, so I see you do YouTube stuff. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that? And I just started getting into dreams, and then she started telling me at the Hyundai place that she has nightmares. And so we got into that talk, and then we just sat and ate snacks together. So dreams really do bring people together. I don't know what to say. But yeah, number one on why I think everybody should find a way to work with their dreams. I haven't even got to the first point on here. Sorry about that. Oh wow, that's incredible. I'm getting emotional just visualizing that. Wow, it was so crazy. I was so, like, my only wish was to be okay and to not, like, just to have my life back. I was, like I said, it started when I was like 13 or 14, but like I think when I had this whole thing going on, I was like 17, almost 18, and I was like, I'm too, like, and living in the hospital. Like, I'm in the hospital so much, they know my name as soon as I walk in. You know, I don't want to always live like that. And who knew? People also see dreams as, like, not something important at all. Oh, it was just a dream, it doesn't count. Oh, a dream is just, like, oh my god. Sometimes I'm listening to podcasts and, like, a dream comes up or something. And people just have, like, this belief that just dreams are, it's just a waste of time. It's completely useless. It doesn't mean anything. People don't want to hear your dreams. It's just annoying when you have that one friend that wants to share their dream. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it, okay? People need to learn the truth about dreaming and how everything you've ever wanted to know about yourself can be found there. You know why? Because your dream space is the entire territory of your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind completely runs your life. And if we can interact with that content consciously, in a vivid 3D reality that feels more real than this experience somehow, that actually can affect your mind and your brain and body, because your brain is still active and learning in that state. And did you know your brain waves are actually more active within REM sleep when you're dreaming than when you're physically awake? So it's said that you can even learn skills faster from practicing within a lucid dream because of the parts of your brain that are activated when you are lucid. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Oh yeah, not gotten to the first point, still cute. Okay, we're getting to the, I need a drink. Every time after my live streams, my throat hurts, and I'm like, maybe because I never stop talking. Just maybe. Okay. So I have a little thing here, and I know we've just been having so much fun going on a few tangents, and by that, by we, I mean me. But really, it's just about using your dreams to accomplish your dream in waking life. And of course, we have a lot of dreams and desires, but like one of my biggest ones was getting to Washington. And I really feel like my dreams had so much to do with that. I really used my dreams in a lot of different ways to explore that, to explore my limiting beliefs around Washington, to explore my fears around Washington, to explore like what's in between me and that goal, like all the little things that will help me become the person that is in that reality, you know. I just kind of wanted to chat a little bit about that because I truly do feel like that is a huge underrated part of shifting our reality to be in alignment with what we know we deserve and what we want. So the first thing, obviously, I would focus on one specific, of course, we have, you know, start stacking up them dreams, start stacking up them goals. You can have as many as you want. And for that, I would create what's called the Possibilities Journal. So this is all of the things that you want to do in your lifetime, even if it's just a small business idea that you can't get to right away, whether it's a bigger goal. You don't want to forget those things, right? You don't want to put all of those things in your to-do list because that would they would make it completely pointless. You can't accomplish every single thing that you want to do in your life all at once, right? And so to make sure that you don't forget about it, and to make sure that you can come back to all of your beautiful, wonderful ideas without losing those sparks when they come in, always make sure to write down those aha moments, those sparks that come to you, those beautiful ideas, because I promise you there will be a time and a place for them, and you don't want to lose that. Like, sometimes, like, have you ever been in the shower and you're singing a song that you made up on the spot and you're like, oh my god, That was actually fire. I need to remember that. I need to write that down immediately. And then it's gone forever, right? Before you even get out of the shower. Anytime you have an idea of something you can do for a book someday, or this or this or that, this is the journal for that. And that will make sure all of your beautiful, wonderful, smart ideas will never be gone, never be lost. But I would choose your biggest goal to work with as far as what we're talking about. Just your ultimate goal. So creating clarity around that. So what is it in particular that's important to you about this goal? And what is just bonus stuff, right? You want to get to like the juice of like the one thing that's important for you. Once you have that, you can kind of look at where you are now and where that kind of takes place and determine kind of what's standing in between you and this goal. So is it something financial? Are there skills that you need to learn? You know, are there connections that you need to make? Is there just information that you need to research? Those are all super, super important things. And so that's going to be part of your little micro goals to help you get to that bigger one. You're just looking at what that journey is going to look like, what that path is going to look like, and you're going to take it step by step. So what are ways that you need to prepare in order to have this goal? So for example, even small things like clearing out clutter so you have enough space. We don't realize that energetically, sometimes that is enough to completely stop whatever we're waiting for to come in. If there's not energetic room within our life or within our home, I feel like that can absolutely stop whatever that is that you're wanting to create from coming in. And you will notice that as soon as you make room, the space gets filled quickly with something new. Like that's just how it works. And so if your cup is already completely full, find ways to let go of what no longer serves you. And holding on to stuff within your closet, within your home, think about the energy of that. It's energy of lack because you think that you won't be able to get this again. You're holding on to things that you don't like just in case, you know. And of course, things that are sentimental to you, obviously you can keep. Something cool that someone told me was instead of, like, maybe you have clothes or a piece of jewelry or something that's too small or you don't like anymore, take a picture of it. That way you technically still have it. If it's something that you don't see yourself ever using, you just want to keep it for sentimental value, even if, and I'm not talking about super, super important stuff like your grandmother's jewelry or something, like just whatever that is kind of difficult to get rid of just because you like to look at it. You like to reminisce, right? Take a picture of it because that is guaranteed to last forever and you'll always feel like you have it. And that way you never forget what it looks like or the feeling it gives you, but you can still create that physical space within your life to let that thing go. And once you start going, it feels so good. Like if you get rid of all of the things that really don't resonate with you anymore or that you haven't used for years, imagine being surrounded with all your favorite things. Even in the closet, all of the clothes that you look at, they're all your favorites, right? And it's just really monitoring your physical space. And what you're doing really is monitoring your energetic space by doing this. So find ways that you can prepare for this goal so it actually has space to come in, whatever that looks like. Forrest, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support, my friend. Adrian, I have a question. Why do you hate journaling? I wanna ask you that. Get to the root of what part is uncomfortable for you, or why. What is it about journaling that makes you not like it? Is it just how much time it takes? Is it you just hate your handwriting? I mean, there's so many different reasons that people cannot like journaling, but I just want to ask you that to see what comes up in particular. Thank you again, Forrest, really. Thank you for all the support. Okay, my throat is starting to hurt, so I'm gonna try to work through this. Oh, here's a good one. The next one, after finding ways that you need to prepare for your goal, notice how you feel when you think about your goal. What emotions come up when you think about your goal? Do you feel determined? Do you feel anxious? Do you feel unmotivated? people can feel tons of different ways about their goals based on where their beliefs are at. And a lot of these are unconscious beliefs. So don't feel like you did anything wrong for thinking this way or this or this or that. That's just, a lot of it comes down to our upbringing, the things that we have seen, the experiences that we've had. And sometimes we just feel like our goal is a lot farther away than it actually is. And so it makes us feel unmotivated because it's like, oh my God, it's going to take forever to get there. When really we just need to tweak a couple things about our perception, and we really can find a fast track to get to our goals if we just learn to cut out all the unnecessary work. I have the opposite problem. I barely keep anything physical. Nothing holds value to me, just digital things on PC. That's beautiful. I wouldn't even consider that a problem. It's not a problem because anything that does have value to you, you would keep, you know? So I think that's beautiful that you don't have those physical attachments. I want that. I want to work up to that, because one thing for me is I definitely get attached to physical things. Stuffed animals. I have every single stuffed animal that my grandmother has ever given me or that I've ever gotten, at least as far as I know. I'm sure there's been some that have been damaged or lost, but even stuffed animals that I've had since I was like 6 or 7. Perfect condition, you know, and obviously those aren't something I want to part with, but even clothes that are too small for me, if I think it's like a super cool badass band t-shirt I used to wear, I went through that today. I had to go through a lot of my band t-shirts from high school that I don't listen to those bands actively anymore, but obviously they're cool still. But when I made sure to try everything on, and it just doesn't feel like me anymore, right? And the last time I pulled those out, I wasn't ready to get rid of them. And so I think you can't ever be late for what's for you. I think that everything is always in the right timing, except sometimes it feels like we're late, or you're right where you're supposed to be, my love, I promise you. It's just our little ego that tells us we gotta get going and rush through life, when that's really, really not how it's supposed to be. So just know that when you are ready to take a specific step, you will. I promise you that you will. Your mind will remind you of it until you do it. And today was just my day to go through the closet in my master bedroom of things that I have held on to for years and years. I still have my whole CD case thing from when I was like, I don't know. I pretty much had it my whole life, and I've just continued to fill it with CDs. I think I got it when I was like 7. I was like, my music taste when I was little is so funny. It would be like Beyonce, Britney Spears, a little bit of that, you know, and then like Korn, Disturbed, System of a Down, Linkin Park, like when I was like 8. And so I still have that same CD case that has all of the music I used to listen to in there, all of the CDs that my parents or my friends made me. And, you know, even though I can't really use those CDs, that seems pretty cool to look through. So those are 2 things I'm gonna keep, you know? And so you really just are basing it off of your feeling. Your feeling will tell you what you're ready for and what you're not ready for. But also make sure you're observing your feelings. Is it fear in which I don't want to let go of this? Is it fear that I feel like I won't have something like this, or I won't be able to, you know, replace this type of thing? Or is it genuine, like, I'm ready to let this go? This really doesn't feel like me anymore. Because again, your feelings are connected to your intuition, and we really just want to get good at feeling our feelings. Because if you can get really good at feeling your feelings, nothing is going to stop you. Because think about all the things that like are scary in life to do, like public speaking, jumping out of a plane, like whatever. We could take it to whatever extreme. But all of that comes down to like either wanting to feel liberated, wanting to feel free, or being scared to feel embarrassed, being scared to get hurt. It all comes down to feelings regardless, right? And so we get really used to feeling all of our feelings and understanding what they mean. Then as soon as we feel something, we'll intuitively know if something is for us, if something's not for us, what action we need to take or not take, you know? Feeling feelings 2024. Yes, Tiffany, you already know. Seriously. Let's get good at feeling our feelings. And hey, if you need a little bit of help, I recommend getting a feelings wheel. This helps you create clarity on your feelings so you can process them. If you don't know what you're feeling or why, how are we going to process our feelings? So anytime you start to get anxious, maybe you do this in the morning as a part of your morning routine. Just sit down with your cup of tea and just look at the feeling wheel, start in the middle, and just determine how you're feeling. Are you more in the realm of happy, sad, disgust, anger, fear, or surprise? And just work your way down until you get to the exact feeling. And once you know the name of the feeling you're experiencing, number one, that already shows awareness to your emotions. Like, okay, I'm aware that you're here. I'm aware that I'm feeling this way. So once you are aware of the feeling you're feeling, all you have to do is surrender to it and let it in. All you have to do is relax behind your heart and let it in. Don't be scared of it. Just allow it to be there as you do the thing. I used to let anxiety stop me from like work. Like sometimes I would take the whole day off of like doing any work or anything when I would like really feel intense anxiety or anything. But that's because I didn't realize that I could still walk with it and feel that way. Like once I stopped resisting anxiety and trying to like mold it into what I need it to be to feel okay. Like once I just was like, hey anxiety, I feel that you're here again, here today again in the morning. And that is totally fine, even though it feels uncomfortable right now to feel anxious. I am willing to feel my feelings because I know that it's better for me, or something like that. And it's just that openness and that awareness of seeing that feeling and accepting. And I promise you, it does so much of the work. So if you're going through your stuff, or when you're evaluating your goal, like notice what feelings come up, because I promise you that is the most important indicator of what's actually going on. Your thoughts can lie to you based on your perception, based on what other people have told you, but your feelings are always true. Your feelings always have a reason to be there. And maybe it's just a thought that's not even true that's generating that feeling. Regardless, the feeling has a reason. So all feelings have a thought attached to them, number one. And if we learn to change that thought, or to play devil's advocate with that thought, and maybe we determine that thought's not even true, we can now choose a new thought that's actually true, that resonates with us, and that automatically creates a new feeling in the body. So your feelings are very important, but you can also change them by changing your thoughts. So, and again, if you have thoughts come up, like as you're going through stuff, getting rid of stuff, and it's like, I don't want to let this go because this and this and this, I can always find it again. I can always get it again, right? Like maybe it's a shirt that you really think is cool, but it doesn't fit anymore. When this style calls to me again, I can easily find a shirt like this. Like whatever is true with the situation. You're just reassuring your brain that, oh, there's a whole other side to the story that, you know, that our perception's not thinking about. So after you notice how you feel when you think about your goal, do a brain dump. So do a big, just journal anything out that your brain wants to say. Do a brain dump on everything and anything to do with this goal, and reread it to analyze your beliefs and assumptions. So for example, like when you think about your goal, when you think about whatever that thing is that you want to accomplish, don't even think about what you're going to write, just write anything to do with it. And you're going to see some unconscious patterns come up. Maybe you find in there that maybe there's something that indicates that you don't deserve it, or that you're not smart enough for the goal, or you don't have enough resources. You're going to start to see stories in there. There's probably going to be some facts in there as well, but so often our mind sees stories as facts, and that's why we suffer so much, because we see something so solidly as something else, right? And we're limiting ourselves through this. So you really want to get used to allowing your brain to say whatever it wants to say, so you can actually reread through it and see what's even true and what's not, you know. And the seeing is the doing. As soon as you become aware of an unconscious process or an unconscious thought that you're having, anytime it pops up after that, you're going to remember, you're going to notice it, and it's going to be easier and easier to change that thought, but it comes down to noticing it first. So yeah, that's to analyze your beliefs and assumptions. And this is where we can start to choose a new belief that supports this goal. So you're going to choose a new belief that's going to replace this limited belief that supports your goal. And thoughts are what generate the belief. So you'll create like a couple set of thoughts that really feel good in your body, feel so true, make you feel, you want to feel those phrases, those thoughts, whatever it is. And again, your feelings will lead you everywhere through life. I promise you. I promise you. So use them to your advantage in this. when you're looking for things that hit, whether it's new beliefs, whether you're determining what location is meant for you. Like, observe how you feel in these different situations. I promise you the answer will become clear. So again, like, you get to choose the beliefs you want to have, but for them to actually become beliefs, that's where the thoughts come in. Basically, your new belief is going to become wired in your brain when you get so used to saying these thoughts, these phrases each day that are in alignment with that goal, and eventually it will become a solid belief. I promise you. And now a way to kind of explore it through your dreams is to use your dream planning journal to explore aspects of this goal in your dreams. So maybe you want to explore, maybe your dream is to move somewhere. Maybe it's to move to Washington. Maybe we're going to be neighbors, right? So maybe you explore the location in your dreams to see what that feels like to be in that type of environment, right? Maybe you get lucid to ask questions to your subconscious mind about what's standing in the way between you and this goal. Maybe you recognize that you have a limiting belief and you use the lucid dream to speak to that archetype. Yes, that belief has its own archetype as well. How cool is that? So there's so many different ways that you can use the dream space to explore this. It just kind of depends where you want to start, what comes up, what seems the most important. And this is something I do on paper first, and then I can explore this in the dream space once I kind of have a vision of what this is. But you basically want to create the version of you that is in alignment with this goal and observe the habits, feelings, and lifestyle of that version of yourself. So sometimes I'll like go into meditation or just get quiet to really think about myself in the future. Maybe your goal is like 4 years out, whatever it is. Tap into the version of yourself that has those things. What type of person are they? How do they hold themselves? What time do they wake up in the morning? What do they eat for breakfast? What kind of clothes do they wear? What beliefs do they have? What types of friends do they have? What's their morning routine? What's their nightly routine? What's their lifestyle like? These are all questions. What are their 3 main feelings that they feel on a day-to-day basis? These are all things that already exist, because time really doesn't exist. All these different aspects of ourselves already exist, and when you connect with it, you're immediately going to get the information from it. So just start to think of where in the timeline of your life this version of yourself would take place, and really just start to tap into like what their lifestyle is and what kind of person they are. And then I just write out everything on a piece of paper, literally like you're crafting a character in a game or something. And once you have, because again, you're trying to give your subconscious as much information as possible, so when you do try to call upon this version of yourself in the dream, that you've created enough of it where it can actually manifest and help you and speak to you, perhaps also. So really use your imagination. Dream big also. Don't hold back. Whether it's like, doesn't matter if it's money related in the future, whatever. Suspend all disbelief when creating this version of yourself, because that's where the most magical versions of ourselves lie, is beyond our own limitations or perceptions on what's possible. So try to even just step out of, just barely, as you're doing this work with creating your ideal self, just try to even just barely going beyond what you think is possible. Try to play with that line and push it a little bit. And I promise you, if you start there, like, since we're going to be doing work to reprogram the brain and to create this version of yourself, whatever version of yourself you're willing to dream of can become true. You just have to dare to think that big when it comes to your dreams. I promise you, anything is possible. I truly believe that if something is aligned for us, and whether we have and if we have a very strong vision of the type of life we want, other people are going to see it like magic. Everyone's going to not even know how it happened, or like, I promise you, That's exactly how this whole situation feels to me. This house that I got in Washington, I scripted it from the exact amount monthly that I wanted to pay, the amenities that I wanted to have, how many bedrooms I wanted to have, the little nooks and like little quirks about the house. Like, also, you guys know that my favorite color is blue. I also added in the thing like, and if the house is blue or if the door is blue specifically, then like I'm gonna know that's a sign, because that's just like a little quirk that I feel like would call out to me. Guess what? The whole house is blue. The whole house is blue. The outside is light blue, the door is dark blue, and then there's a couple blue rooms as well. And I'm telling you, like, when scripting for this house, I was trying to think of like kind of what could be too good to be true. And I'm telling you, like, this house stuck out as like something that I like created with my own mind and put in the marketplace. It stuck out like a sore thumb, and we were the first ones in line to apply, and the next day over 100 people applied for it. If we were even a second late, we would have missed this opportunity, but somehow it aligns with every single thing in that journal that I've been working with and using my dreams to kind of break down beliefs in my own mind that would convince me that it's not possible to have that. Like, that's where I did the work, not like trying to work within my comfort zone, but I'm like, if something feels like it's not possible, instead of reeling back my goal, it's like, okay, how can I expand my mind? How can I expand my beliefs to actually support this thing? How can I make this feel like it is possible? So don't scale back your dreams or your goals or your desires. See how you can work with what's up here to make room for that goal or desire to come in, if that makes sense. And again, if your goal is to make $2 trillion and go to space next year, you know, we also got to look at some of those things to see if we're setting ourselves up. Like, for example, some people that don't believe in manifestation, like, okay, so if I just think about a Lamborghini all night, then I'll go outside and a Lamborghini will be in my driveway. If you think like that, you're going to self-sabotage your ability to create. You can't think like that. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You got to create a situation where it makes sense to your brain, because our brain is so like analytical, especially our ego, right? Our ego is super analytical. And so you want to find a sweet spot with what goal to start with, but you do want it to push your comfort zone a little bit on what you think you can achieve and maybe what you think is even possible. That's where it gets fun. I promise you. That's where it gets fun. Okay, and then really you're looking at, the last thing is you're looking at your lifestyle daily and seeing what you can adapt from your ideal version of yourself into your current reality little by little. So for me, it started with just like being more of a morning person. I would stay up all night before like 5 or 6 a.m., sometimes later, and then I would wake up at like 4 p.m. And one thing that I saw my Washington self doing is being a little bit more of a morning person, having a solid morning routine, you know, having like feeling so good and having like everything that I needed to do for the day done by like 1 p.m. And so that was something that totally is doable for me to start playing with in this reality. It's just going to take a little bit of self-discipline, but it's not anything that I don't have available to me right now, you know what I mean? So you just want to find little habits, little ways that you can start to change bit by bit. And sometimes it's so small, you don't even think that you're making a big change. But then when you look at the bigger picture, like over a year, you're like, oh my God, like that person that I was dreaming of being, like now I feel like I am that person. Or those beliefs that seemed, or those ideas that seemed so far out of my like knowing, now are like a no-brainer to me. That's what's so cool to go through your old journals, because like I have so many journals, and so often I'm like anxiously scripting, like, oh my God, okay, I'm having a panic attack because this happened, or this happened with my YouTube channel, or this, or this, or this. And you can tell I'm like really trying to believe that thoughts create reality or something simple like that. And it's just so cool to look back and see like how you changed as a person, like this confidence that you've built inside from just putting yourself into uncomfortable situations that you know you could handle if you just put yourself in the situation. Like you just start to build this inner resilience over time, where you just like, and you just know that you've accomplished harder, dude. You're like, bro, I've accomplished way harder than this. Like, of course I can do this. Our ego just likes to stay in comfort. And so if it can find any way to stay in comfort, it's gonna send it's gonna send those thoughts. Oh, maybe you don't feel good. Oh, do you have a headache? Maybe you have a headache. You know, and it's gonna try to find anything to get you to stop changing, because the ego doesn't like change, right? But that's where all of our growth happens. And so once you realize that you can totally accept and become aware of how you feel and like do the thing anyways, everything starts to change. Your mind starts to get way quieter. Your thoughts start to get way quieter. Like I told you guys, when I would have like a flare up or an anxiety attack or something before, I would take off like the whole day, because it'd be like paralyzing. But I started like just practicing becoming aware of my uncomfortable feelings, you know, and not trying to change them, just sitting with them. And then next after that, I would become aware of my feelings and then still try to do the thing, you know, and then eventually like you just become friends with your feelings. You become friends with these sensations. You don't see anything as a threat as far as what's going on in your internal environment. It's all just information. It's all just data, right? If you have an uncomfortable thought come up, or you are outside taking a walk and all of a sudden you feel this like bit of anger come up, you're not like all of a sudden, oh my god, why is this, you know, you're just like, oh, interesting, I wonder why that's there. And you completely change your perception about it, so you're not scared of your emotion anymore. It's just like you're just like talking to a friend. And I promise you, how you process and feel emotions after that completely changes. Completely. It's so crazy, dude. It's so fucking crazy. Oh, sweet dreams, Gina. Sweet dreams. Have a good one. Good night to oh, who's leaving? Is there a couple people? I don't want to say goodbye to the wrong person. I love you all. Thank you so much for joining. Can you delve into a little bit more about how manifestation works? Yeah, and so really, I believe that and again, like when I get totally obsessed with a topic or something in particular, I try to absorb as much as I can find on it. So this is just everything that I have taken in, I feel like, from my own journey. But if you can look at neuroscience and quantum physics and you kind of like dabble into those realms, you start to see how they're connected, like how the brain is connected to the universe. And like even when you look at how I can't remember exactly what it was. It was like the nervous system of the universe like mimicked our nervous system. Like everything is so much more connected than we believe. And I believe that like it's just like when you're talking about maybe you're getting a specific type of car and you can't stop talking about that brand of car, and now all the time you're outside and you just see that car everywhere, right? It's not that there's all of a sudden more of that car, it's that you have primed your mind to see more of that. You've changed your awareness to be more aware of that specific thing. And I believe that's how all of this is. We are just bridging the gap between what we desire and allowing us to see it in our physical environment. And so much of manifestation is the action part. I think that's where people get it mixed up, because I think that manifestation is a combination of clarity, working with your beliefs, and saying yes to opportunities that lead you closer and closer to that goal. Like when it comes to manifestation, like things coming in, the only things that can truly come in, it's not like your car, like if you're wanting to manifest a Lamborghini, it can just plop through your ceiling right now like you just did a cheat code, right? But it can give you all the pieces to that recipe to get that thing. It can give you the thoughts or ideas of ways that you can make money to save up for that specific car, or it can lead you to specific people that will give you specific opportunities that will lead you to that thing. It's like the universe brings you your manifestation, but using recipes, if that makes sense, using the ingredients to the end all recipe, but it's us that has to put the recipe together. And I do want to get more into this, but I might have to do it next live or something when I have more of a voice, because it's getting super, super dry. But I promise you that if And the main thing that I'd say with manifestation too is like not focusing on the specific thing, like the Lamborghini or whatever it is, but the version of you that would have that thing. That's the most important. Like, who is the version of you that would own that Lamborghini? Like that, and then it brings all the work back onto you. It shows you all of the ways that you could change. You could tweak a couple things around, right, to be more in alignment with that Lamborghini. Like, and it comes down to so many things when you think about that, like your lifestyle habits, right? Like how much money you make. Maybe there's other ways that you can scale your business to be more supportive of having that Lamborghini. Like the beliefs, how do you hold yourself? Are you a confident person? Like, what's your money mindset like, right? There's so many different pieces that we can work on that will help us achieve our goal. But really the manifestation is putting ourselves in a place where we can find opportunities for that thing, but also having the self-discipline to become the person that can hold and appreciate that thing, if that makes sense. For example, like everyone says they want to become a millionaire, but if everyone became a millionaire tomorrow, they'd have no idea how to handle the money. Like their belief work alone, maybe you were making like 25K a year and then all of a sudden you started making $2 million a year, like your biggest dream. You wouldn't know how to manage the money. You wouldn't even know what to do with the money. You would need to either figure out so many skills in order to manage the money or learn how to hire a team. Like there's so many pieces that we don't think about when it comes to our goals that if we got the thing that we wanted more than anything right now, we'd probably lose it because we didn't prepare in a way that allowed us to support and grow this desire, this thing that we wanted to call in. And when you are the person that is ready for that thing, I promise you it will find a way to you. I promise you it'll find a way to you. And again, it really comes down to the internal environment that we have and the physical way that we experience our day, right? Because again, if we don't believe even that we're able to achieve something, like once we have that thing, there's going to be such a disruption between our internal environment and what we think is true and what we physically actually have, and you're going to wish that you had a do-over, you know, if your dream manifestation came in right now. So the biggest thing is to create the version of yourself that can hold that specific thing. And I promise you, little by little, opportunity by opportunity, it will come in. And the only thing you have to make sure that you do is don't self-sabotage. Don't say no out of fear. When the opportunity comes your way. When you have control to do something that you know will push you towards your goal, like just building the self-discipline around that to keep yourself going, those are the skills that actually help us manifest. I really do believe once we have created the internal environment where it feels in harmony with that experience or life we want to have, we will experience our internal environment will reflect in our external environment. I guarantee it. I hope this makes sense though. $1 million question, how do we handle $1 million? And I'm glad that you asked that, Tiffany, because I think that's a question that we should all start thinking with. Like, Tiffany, if you got $1 million tomorrow, if you won $1 million, what would you do with it? And it's better to start thinking about it now, because just by thinking about it now and coming up even with a basic plan, you're more prepared than you just were a minute ago. And that's really what it's about. If you did have $1 million, like what type of systems would you need in your life to save some of that money, to grow some of that money? Like you just start thinking in that realm, because so often people are like, why would I even think about making $1 million? That's never going to happen. So they're like, why would I need to prepare for that? I don't plan on making that happen. You see how if our internal environment isn't in alignment with that one thing, it just won't work the way that we see it working, right? It just won't. So open up another savings account or something that you're not going to fully use it. Maybe we're going to put like, a couple bucks in there every once in a while just to start getting in the energy of wealth or having that account, like just doing little things that help you feel more like the successful person that has those things. So Tiffany, great question. I would start thinking about it. Everyone, let's start thinking about it. Like if your dreams and desires happen today or tomorrow, let's give ourselves a little bit of time tomorrow. Or push it a week out. Let's say that and this is a good exercise because it puts your mind in the position of like it's already on the way. So let's say in 7 days time, you knew that your biggest dream or desire was going to come true, right? If your life was prepared for it. What would you spend these next 7 days doing? How would you prepare the space? Would it be physically? Would it be like, what would you have to work through to welcome that thing in, right? And like even when it comes to like a relationship, people are like, oh my gosh, I just wish that I had a boyfriend or a husband or someone to get to know in that realm. But if you ask him, okay, well, what if he was on his way now? Oh, he can't come now. The dishes aren't done. I don't have enough room set up for him to even come hang out with me and here everything's a mess. See, it's like if you got your wish right then and there, you would push it away because you're like, oh no, I'm not ready now. I thought I was ready, but I'm actually not ready. That's basically the work you want to do for manifestation. That's what you want to do to call that thing in. It's just prepare your environment, prepare your space, prepare your mind. And I promise you, that's when it finds its way to you. Please prove me wrong. Please, let's all put this to the test. I swear to God, everything you could ever dream of is yours if you are willing to do the work behind it, which a lot of people aren't, and that's totally fine, but at least we know it comes back to this, at least we know what is standing in the way of us and that desire, so we know where the work lies, Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. Good choice. I would also probably have to put it away and just, think of what to do with it. I would definitely want to put a lot in like a Roth IRA that I could pull out way later, because Roth IRAs in particular, you could put in any amount monthly into the Roth IRAs, and at 59.5, it's all tax-free. And so I'd probably put a good chunk in there. And depending on how much you have in there, I think they match some of it. So that would technically be making even more money with that specific money. So that's definitely an abundant move, I think. But start thinking about your biggest dream, your biggest desire. Put it in your dream planning journal to start asking it to show up somehow in your dreams and see how it feels. Really, if you guys have any questions about this, though, we talk about this stuff all the time. This is some of my favorite topics, and it's feeling extra special because we signed that lease today. So in less than a month, I'm going to be in Washington, which feels so unreal because I've been working towards that for 5 or 6 years, and we've talked about it so much on the channel, and I have so many journal entries of, I'm finally in Washington, this is how it is, like, I'm feeling this way. Like, I've dreamt about it so often that now actually saying it, it's like hard to believe that it's actually coming together. So yes, your limitations are only perceptions, okay? And because your perceptions can be changed and broken, so can your limitations. So don't stop right before you get to actually experience your true potential. And your true potential usually comes just outside of your comfort zone. And if you can feel your feelings, I promise you, you will literally fear nothing in your life. Our feelings control so much, and they are there to support you and to help you get to where you want to go. So see them as friends, welcome them in, and I promise just through that, like, how you feel inside will completely transform. But I love you all. You're so worthy of everything you've ever desired. I love you more than anything, each and every one of you, and thanks for being here. I really, really do appreciate it. You should visit the Washington Zoo. The bird exhibit is beautiful, very humane too. Oh, thank you. I would love to. I have so much to explore out there, so I'm definitely down to hear any recommendations for where to go first. And of course, I will take you guys along for the ride as much as I can. We're gonna have a lot of fun in Washington. We're gonna have a lot of fun. I'm very excited. You need to make under 150K annually. Interesting. I'll have to look into that because, yeah, I'm not too sure about the specifics about that, but I guess that does make sense. They won't let me put $1 million in there at once. What? They won't match that? What? Too bad, huh? Maybe we can manifest that change. Who knows? Buy Bitcoin. I was actually given a little bit of Bitcoin not too long ago. I don't do anything with it. I just let it sit there. if it's given to me, I'll hold on to it, but all right, guys, I love you. I gotta go do some work. I gotta prepare to get this course out before the big adventure. Thank you so much, Eric. Thank you, and thanks for being here, Eric. I love you so much. Thank you so much for your help on the channel. That link tree should be where all my resources are. Yeah, soon we're gonna have a website, so things are gonna be changing for the better soon, but head over there if you need to find any resources or connect with the community on Telegram. That's where I hang out the most, probably, with you guys. And yeah, there we go. Well, I love you guys so much. Thanks again for hanging out. And as always, I'm sending endless love and endless lucidity. Bye, guys. Sweet dreams.